Hi guys, it's Aegis here, and today I'm going to start with a Nova Grappler deck profile. Since I've been playing with this deck a little longer than my Kagero, and it's sort of my friend's cards, so I better do a deck profile while I can. So here we are. I've been testing it with many like clans so far, except well, actually I've been testing with every clan except Nova themselves, because we only have one person playing Nova and the resources is limited, so we can't do it like a mirror match. But then I've been playing with Kagero, Royals, Oracles, and after a few testing, I make my sort of current final tuning, so it will be a different way of looking at the deck compared to the 5 videos that I might upload later on, or maybe before, depends on where I put my videos up. So let's start. So of course we have our Accel markers. Doesn't matter how many we need, but you normally won't need a lot, so it's there. And then starting Vanguard, I'm using Authorizer for one reason, because I will need him for my other cards, and with the new grade zeros, when you ride you draw one, so basically everyone use the same type of thing, so that's one. And then I'm running 4 perfect rises. This card is the key of your deck if you are going to build this, make this build. So first skill is when you attack as a Vanguard, counterblast 2, select 2 of your front row regard and stand them. And then the second skill is when attack hits, if you have a Riser card in your soul, then you can counter charge 1, and in the turn select 1 unit plus 5k. So very key card for this deck, because you will be making more than like 3 lines. As long as you ride, you will gain a marker and build a new line. So plan your attacks carefully, and then ready to stand 2 units. One downside with this card is most of the time you will not be hitting high numbers compared to the clan with force, or like even with oracles, because Imperial Daughter will just gain 15k and he himself will not gain any power. And for most of my case I will be like this, so you'll be hitting for like 18 is a magic number, but then it's not big enough. So you need to plan your attacks very carefully, and he doesn't require to attack the Vanguard to stand 2, so which is great. And next I'm running one Asura Kaiser. I have been running like 3 to 4 of him, and I even ride him to test out, but then he's not as great as I think he is. So let's look at the skill. When you drive track a grade 2 or higher cards, then you can select 1 of your regard and stand, and if the card that you check is grade 3 or above, then you can counterblast 1 to let that regard to gain 10k power. So it's a random factor that you might not get grade 2s and above at all. So it's too random, and you can't always guarantee to get a power, because you need a lot of grade 3s and you need to check them. If you get them already in hand, then he's basically just try to stand something, and that's all. Even though you get Accel marker to have you gain 10k power, but sometimes that's not enough sometimes, but still he's not extremely bad, but just compared to like Perfect Riser, it's not stable. And next I'm running for Maximum Riser. Do note that he himself do not give you any marker at all. He doesn't have the marker sign here, so if you have to ride him, bad luck. But why I'm running 4 is because of his skill. As a Vanguard or Regard, if this unit attacks the Vanguard and is not being boosted at all, he will get 10k power. So if you are putting him on an Accel field, then he will become a 32k attacker, and then you will stand him with like Perfect Riser, and if hit you can give him 5k to become a 37k. If you got a trigger, it will be like 42 or maybe something bigger, or even a Shura Kaiser. Stand him, if you get a check grade 3, he will become another 10k plus. So very important attacker, and you don't need him to be on the Accel circle to be powerful. He himself just on the Regard circle can be a 22k. So if you twin your number right, he's just going to do whatever it takes to help you bring down your enemy. So he's my freeze, and let's get into 2s. So for grade 2s, I'm running 4 high power Riser custom. Firstly, his skill when he is appear as a Vanguard or Regard, select up to you can call a Battle Riser from your soul to the same line as him. So usually, because when you ride, he won't come out like in the past, so you will need him by calling him and then put one Battle Riser from soul. That's how it works. And then the second skill is when attack hits the Vanguard, you counter blast 1 and select one Battle Riser from your Regard circle and put into soul. Then select one of your other Regards to stand, so he cannot stand himself, but he can help you stand something. For example, Maximum Riser, or any other ones that stand on the Accel circle that you want to stand, or even just early rush, standing a Regard and do more attacks. Also a point to note that for his second skill, he doesn't require to have the Battle Riser on the same line. So for example, if you already call one and when you ride, you put Battle Riser up, and then if you are on Great Freeze and you call one here, and then he hits, then you can still pick the Battle Riser and put him into the soul, which I think is very great. Unless your Battle Riser just got like retired by Kagero, then again that's bad luck, but that's what happens. Then next I'm running 3 of the Burst Riser. I think that's how he's called. Burst or Boss, I think it Burst. And firstly, his skill is when your Vanguard attacks, counter blast and soul blast 1, this unit will stand himself, and if your opponent's damage is 4 or above, then in the turn this unit will get 3000 power. The reason that I'm running 3 of is because he's quite cost heavy, even though you don't use the soul a lot, but then you do use counter blast a lot. Like even high power Riser custom use counter blast, and he will use 1, and Perfect Riser will use 2, even though he might counter charge 1, but no guarantee. What is great about this card is he can be a 12k attacker if he stands, when your opponent is like heavily damaged. So he doesn't rely on anything to stand, and he can do it himself. That's why I'm running a little bit more here. I tried 4, but most of the time my opponent do know that because I'm playing Novas, I need a lot of counterblast, and he's trying not to give me that much. So I'm trying to lower the amount to make sure I can do something better. And next I'm running free Iron Killer. So his skill is when he attacks the Vanguard. If you have 3 or more regards, then in the battle he will get 5000 power. So basically it's a 14k hitter, hit 13k, that's big enough. So he can just go here, Accel circle, stand alone, and do like 24k attacks. It's very simple. And because you are playing Novas, you need a lot of regards to keep hitting your opponent, so most of the time you have more than 3. So that's not a problem. I was trying to run the promo that when he stands he gets 3000 power, but then because the first time he attacks, if he's not on the Accel circle, it's just a 9k, and then even on the Accel circle it's a 19k, so it's not effective compared to Iron Killer. That's why I choose Iron Killer over the promo. And then I'm running to Boomerang Slower. Not too sure his name. So his skill is when he appears, if your damage zone face-up card is 1 or less, counter charge 1, and if your soul is 1 or less, soul charge 1. So he's important because most of the cards eats up your counter blast, so you do need some way to counter charge. I'm running 2 for now, but maybe I want to put more, maybe. And if I'm going to put more, I might even just take 1 more burst riser out. That's how I feel. And here's my tools. For ones, I'm running for Riser Custom. He's very key to the deck. First, it's an active skill. Put 1 card into your soul. In the turn, you can attack even if you're going first, but the drive will become 0. This is a skill that you won't be using most of the time, but then like if you really going to ride him and you have like spare resources, maybe like a draw trigger that is not a PG, then you can just chuck it in and just swing and just have fun with it. So not too bad, but you normally won't be using this skill. And the second skill is if your other regard stat is in the same line with this card stands, then you can also stand this unit. So it's like the Beast Deity, how the right horn, I think it's right horn, how he stands. So like if you are combo with Iron Killer, he's like 14 and this is 8, and you're already hitting like 22. So when Iron Killer stands, he can stand as well if they are in the same line, and you can just keep hitting again, which will be a little bit easier to get through Protect clans or even mirror match. And then I'm running 2 of this Trance Riser. So his skill is when he boosts, then use by Soul Blast 2, then you will counter charge 1, and if the attack is attacking the Vanguard, then this unit will also get 3000 power. So he basically is a 11k boost, and then by costing 2 souls, which you usually have, then you get counter charge and keep doing stuff. So if you are on low damage and you need to do multiple attacks and you already like use a counter blast by Perfect Riser, then here's how you save yourself. And I'm running for Jet Riser. He has a very simple skill. When your other regards appears in the turn, this unit will get 3000 power. So whenever you call stuff after you call or ride him, he will gain the power, so you don't need to afraid like your opponent riding an AK Vanguard, and then when you ride, you need to ride him. If you have a regard, just call and he will be a 10k and just get the number right. So very easy to use. Then I'm running two Death Army guy. He got no shield power, but he's a 9k attacker. Just for early rush, and then if you need to tune your number, you can, because like if you are using Iron Killer, is 14k plus 9 is 23, so just hit. And if you want a better defense, you can just ride him. So no hurt to like put 2 in. Usually I don't see people running these, but I've been testing with 2 and I'm happy with them, so he's here. And then with triggers, I'm running 7 front triggers, and then 5 draws and 4 heals. So I try like 4 crit, 4 front, 4 draws and 4 heals. It's sort of alright, but I think the crit is actually limiting myself, trying not to put too much things in front, or maybe like giving myself some chances to gamble for a crit, so I don't play regards. But then I think that's sort of limiting myself a little bit, so I tried 6 draws, 6 front, 4 heals, and actually saying I don't like it because I keep getting my 5k draw triggers into my hand before actually triggering them, so it's kind of a waste to me, because 5k I normally can't protect anything basically. And front triggers is actually quite important if you are fighting a clan that do not retire your stuff, because once you even damage check a front trigger or your regards in the front row, you get the power. So it's just great in defense, also great in attack, because you will stand your units and then suddenly they all become like 10k plus. That's nice to me. And of course 4 of them is PG. And heals, I was thinking, do I need heals in this deck to be offensive, but then after a few testing, I think heal is still good to be here. Not basically just because it's a heal trigger, but more of the 20k shooting power sometimes saves myself. So yeah, basically that's how the deck is. And what else to say? So not much. I think so, not much, because actually how to run this deck is more depending on the situation. But whenever you have an Accel circle, what usually you put will be maximum riser, Iron Killer most of the time, I would say. If you have to choose from the ones, maybe like Jet Riser, Death Army guy. Yeah, basically I think these are your options if you can pick. If you can't, Like if you're full of triggers, then you can still call and do a 15k attack, so that's not a big problem because you will still have a chance to hit. So far, the new Novas I do feel is fun. It's actually fun. Just requires me a little bit more to think about how I should plan my attacks, how I plan the use of a counter blast, and I just need to be careful, basically. Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. I will do a Kagero profile next after I tune it a little bit more to make sure I'm happy with it, and then I will be able to show you guys. So before that, stay tuned for my next fight video or maybe my next deck profile videos, and let me know how you feel. Yeah, so I will see you in the next video. Signing off.